Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Jamaica Environment Trust raises alarm over yet another pollution in the Rio Cobre. Fire victims at the Ocho Rios market urged to brace for delay in market repairs. And later in sports, opposition spokesman on sports questions procurement of national stadium track. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kerry-Ann Simpson. Here are the details. Chief Executive Officer of the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation, Marvelyn Pitter, says the corporation is working to update its appropriations account. The corporation was one of 4 identified by the Auditor General which had discrepancies in the administration of the Municipal Social Assistance Program. The AG's report cited a history of non-compliance in submitting quarterly expenditure and progress reports. Speaking at this morning's sitting of the Public Accounts Committee PAC, the CEO explained that even as the corporation moves to update its financials, it is challenged by a staffing shortage in the accounts department.
Recently, we advertised a position, Services Commission, advertised some position for the director. It's a financial position. It's a position in accounts, right? And this position, this person would be fully in charge of the financial statements. That's the key output. So it has been advertised, and I know that persons have applied, right? As it relates now to...
But can you go a little further? What is their cutoff period? When would you...
The cutoff period was the 7th of March.
In the meantime, Ms. Pitter outlined a timeline for when the other outstanding statements will be ready.
For the year 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, we have added 2025 because we want to do this, all of this by October 2026.
By October 2026.
Right. So for 2021, we should send in the financial statements by July 2025. And
okay, so you're staggering it. So the ones most outstanding you're trying to complete, and
yes,
then
we're trying to complete these, right? Because we have a lot of bulky items, and for these, we have these to put on our system, and we don't have the staff.
The private sector organization of Jamaica, PSOJ, says it wants clarity on how the government plans to offset the projected revenue loss of $14 billion from the increase in the personal income tax threshold. Finance Minister Favour Williams said the increase will move to $2 million over a 3-year period. PSOJ President Metriciaga says the move is commendable, but the government needs to explain how it will close a shortfall in the budget.
We are happy that that income tax increase in the threshold will put more money in people's pockets. So for that, whilst it's not a concern, we just want to make sure that that deficit is able to be plugged in the budget.
One mayor cannot do it alone. That assertion from former mayor of Kingston, Delroy Williams, amidst criticism over the Ward Theatre renovation. Mr. Williams also says the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, KSAMC, doesn't have the resources to complete the theatre in one go.
May not be completed under any single man administration or any two. It may go into a 3rd or 4th administration, but it is important for our history. It is important for our culture that we continue the work to restore the space. We felt that such an important space to the heart, that we could not leave it the way it was. It was run down, it was looking terrible inside the theater was terrible, and we felt that it's not befitting of its rich history.
Multiple external agencies have invested in the theatre at a value of almost $90 million. Mr. Williams believes if the KSAMC, under current leader Andrew Swaby, continues seeking funds for repair works, the theatre can be closer to completion.
Current leadership of the municipality, I would suggest that they need to continue the work there. They need to strategically make resources available to continue the renovation of the theatre. And when our administration took office of the municipality, the ward theatre was in decline. I mean, the place was terrible, not indicative of a space that has been such an important part of our history.
The Jamaica Environment Trust, JET, has raised alarm over yet another pollution of the Rio Cobre in St. Catherine on March 15, caused by a caustic chemical. The environmental body, in a release Tuesday morning, also raised concerns about the effectiveness of preventative measures as residents who depend on the river continue to suffer repeated pollution incidents. JET is therefore urging the government to provide updates on the investigation, take concrete steps to prevent future pollution, and enhance real-time water quality monitoring. An overnight fix will not be possible. That assertion from local government minister Desmond McKenzie, who addressed vendors affected by the fire at the Ocho Rios market. More in this report.
Local government minister Desmond McKenzie is urging vendors at the Ocho Rios market who were affected by Sunday's fire to be patient. Mr. McKenzie, who toured the facility yesterday, says based on the magnitude of the damage, recovery will be timely.
There is no snapping of the finger response to the situation. The SDC, who is present, will be undertaking an assessment of the area and to get some information which is vital. The municipality will also be working close with the SDC and the Jamaica Fire Brigade to come up with whatever answers that needs to be answered.
11 shops were destroyed in the blaze. Mr. McKenzie says the assessment will determine what the next step will be. He, however, expressed concerns about the state of the facility while in use.
Just last year, we spent a significant amount of money undertaking repairs here at the Ocho Rios market. And I'm a little bit disappointed that this morning when I took up a copy of one of the newspapers, I saw in the newspaper a photograph of the mayor and myself. Incidentally, the same shirt I'm wearing today is the same shirt that appeared in the Observer this morning, where the bathroom is being vandalized. You know, it can't be that we have made the kind of investment to improve the conditions here in the market and persons are using other means to destroy what has been done.
In the meantime, Mr. McKenzie said plans for the Ocho Rios market is ongoing.
We have done a significant amount of work over the last 2 years and we intend to do more because looking at the conditions of the Ocho Rios market, it tells you that if something is not done, then we might be back here shortly for similar occurrence in terms of fire. So just to say that we will offer assistance, but to the level that determination will be made once we have concluded the assessment.
Christopher Scott, TVJ News.
It's time for a break. Stay with us, more local stories when we return. Welcome back. We're continuing the news. A peace program being rolled out in schools island-wide is said to be bearing fruit in the fight to reduce violence among students. Krista Campbell has that story.
We really need some serious interventions in schools, and who are the better ones to lead than our youth? You know, if we can train them because they already understand their peers, and they are the ones who will work with their peers to be better persons of themselves.
The intervention that Manchester Custos Garfield Green speaks about are to stem the spate of violence and conflicts among students, some of which have turned fatal. And so a pilot project in 2 schools in 2023 to train select student leaders as peace ambassadors is being rolled out in all schools, following success reports about it improving discipline among the initial 2 targeted institutions. Custos Green says the project coordinators are now going from school to school to do the physical pinning of the student ambassadors, and TVJ News caught up with them at Bishop Gibson High School in Manchester.
Students go to school to learn. We must save them, we must protect them. And this program was developed also with the assistance of the police, right? They were involved in it as a stakeholder. And to date, we're still enjoying their support.
Last year, we had some incidents of homicides within this parish. When we do our analysis of the data, 72% of the homicides that we had in Manchester were dispute related. Those are incidents that could have been avoided if persons decided to talk it out rather than fight it out.
One of those incidents happened on May 13, 2024, where 20-year-old Akeelia White was fatally stabbed at the Catholic College of Mandeville in Manchester and her 17-year-old male classmate injured after rushing to her aid. Head of the Manchester Police, Deputy Superintendent Kerry Duncan, stressed that the Peace Ambassador program will also help tackle the pervasive issue of bullying.
A peaceful school reduces the likelihood of bullying, fights, and other forms of violence. It also increases empathy. It fosters understanding. Peace education encourages students to consider different perspectives, promoting empathy and understanding. It also augurs for better mental health. Peaceful schools can help reduce stress, anxiety, and other mental health issues.
Custos Green says at least one justice of the peace will be assigned to each school to help the guidance counselor or a senior teacher oversee the Peace Ambassador program. He adds that the ambassadors will be constantly trained in dispute resolution, specifically de-escalating tension.
For them to be first responders, for them to be counselors, for them to intervene in matters between their peers, right? For them to provide justice to their peers, of course.
Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
It's now time for the Business Minute.
Blue Power Group reported a net profit of $101 million for the 9-month period ending January 31 this year. However, shareholder profits fell 15.8% due to rising shipping costs, commodity prices, and new CARICOM trade rules, imposing a 40% duty on raw materials. Now, despite this, the company achieved an 11% increase in revenue. Blue Power remains a market leader in soap manufacturing in Jamaica, focusing on price competitiveness and product innovation to drive growth. Now, the company's cash and investments totaled $591 million, and it plans to expand its operations and develop adjacent land for future growth. Further afield, a global group of economists predicts President Trump's tariff policies will slow economic growth in the U.S. and around the world and send prices higher again. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development issued its quarterly report on Monday. It's the first sweeping attempt by global economists to document and forecast the damage from Trump's tariffs to the economies of America and its trading partners. The group of nearly 40 mostly wealthy nations made new economic forecasts that are noticeably worse than its previous predictions. It predicts U.S. economic growth will slow dramatically this year and next, while U.S. inflation will pick up this year. Both growth and inflation forecasts are worse than in the last quarterly report. For the Business Minute, I'm Shane Masters.
Thanks, Shane. Time now for the top regional and international stories. In the region, Guyana's President Dr. Irfaan Ali says his administration is currently engaging the United States under threats of sanctions for countries exploiting Cuban labor. President Ali says conversations are being pursued through official channels. The Guyana leader says all foreign workers, despite their country of origin, fall under the same local and international labor laws. On the international scene, more than 400 people have been killed by Israeli strikes on Gaza, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. The Israeli military says it was carrying out extensive strikes after talks to extend the ceasefire failed, its biggest waves of strikes since January 19 when the ceasefire began. And officials in North Macedonia are investigating a fire that tore through a nightclub, killing 59 people and injuring more than 150 Sunday morning. It's understood there were 500 people inside the venue at the time, well over its capacity for the 250 tickets sold. Thousands of people have staged a protest demanding justice and action against what they are calling corruption. 20 people have been detained for questioning over the disaster, including the nightclub owner and some former government ministers. And those are the top regional and international stories. And we head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.